Hi, a lot of times students ask me that we have failed in the past attempts. We have not done very well in our academic life. We have not done very well all throughout our life. Will we be able to crack this exam? In short, we have constantly failed and failures have always touched us. What is the probability that we will succeed? Right, not only in this exam but anywhere. The confidence is very down, right? So recently I read something very beautiful and I thought of sharing with you all, right? And this is called as the book of life. Now what is this book of life? It's actually an analogy to handle failures. Now what's this analogy? Please try to understand and you will get to know what I am trying to say. Now the entire life of every person, me, you, everyone on this planet Earth, is like a book. It is like a book. Each episode is a particular chapter in your book of life, right? Everything that happens with you, any and everything that happens, it becomes a part of your book of life, right? You just cannot erase it. For example, someone said XYZ to you. Now that has happened. You cannot invent a time machine, or right now there is not a time machine, but you can invent a time machine to erase that. But time machines don't exist. So you cannot erase it. Similarly, you have faced failures in past. You cannot erase it. You just can't, right? So it is a part of your life, right? It is a part of the book of life. So how do we deal with it, right? Now, the important point is not that it is a part of your life, but the important point is the significance of that chapter in your book of life. That is, that failure chapter will always be highlighted if the book of your life is a very, very thin book that is on your screens. Now, if your book of your life is like this thin, right, that only one chapter, that one failure will constantly be highlighted in this particular book, right? It is very easily to you can say highlight that chapter. But if your book of life consists of many events, right, then let us say this was the failure chapter. This will become an insignificant chapter in your life, right? So that is what I want to say. Add value to your life. This is just a part of life, not your life. Similarly, the failures you have faced in your past, whatever has happened, has happened. The point is how much more value you can add on so that that failure becomes insignificant. The same analogy applies to success. If you just have one exam to crack, then that will only be a chapter, right? And if your book of life is very, very thick, that will never be highlighted. But if you have multiple success, then all those chapters will be highlighted. They will all be an important chapters of your life, and most importantly, you will cherish them. So that is what I want to tell for anyone and everyone who thinks he can't do it. No matter what happens, remember, the significance or the insignificance of your actions will be determined by the thickness of your book of life. So even if you do well today, it doesn't matter. What matters is whether you are constantly doing the right things, right? So that the book gets thicker and thicker and thicker, and there are multiple accolades to highlight. The same applies to the failures. If you have failed, it doesn't matter. But if you just have that one failure in your life, your book of life looks like this. And all the chapters become important in this particular book. I hope you got the message. Thank you and take care.